right, Dave, so run me through the build on this thing. What are we using?
So starting from the crank, we got just regular OEM, you know, main bearings, all that good stuff. Set of forged HB rods, pretty cool stuff. The ARP 2000 hardware. Now these are the Tang style stuff, so they use the aftermarket pistons, of course, which obviously you wouldn't be going this far and not putting a decent set of Molly pistons in there. So we got those. Ceramic coat at the top's pretty cool. Hopefully it keeps some of the heat out of that cylinder, or whatever the hell the point of the ceramic coat is. It's good stuff, I don't know. So we did that. Integrated engineering valve springs, so we're gonna rev it higher just so we can put the snail to work and bring it up to around like 7,800. You know, stretch out the power band a little bit. Obviously mandatory AFP head studs. Main studs are already in the block.
You wanna go through the turbo?
Turbo, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. So it used to be a V1 from DBV2. We had a V1, and that pretty much caps out just over the 500 wheel horse mark. And so somehow, some way, it blew up. I'm not really quite sure what happened yet, but the point is, I sent it back to Dan. He remachined the housings and went with the V3 stuff. So now it's a triple ball bearing, billet core, still an IS38. So this is technically still a hybrid turbo. And I mean, this is good for over 600 wheel horse. We're gonna leave it at that on the turbo.
All right, let's get to work.
What are we doing over here, Dave?
Oh, dude, no one's supposed to see this. What the fuck?
Crazy.
We're not doing, it's not what it looks like. I'm only just...
It's exactly what it looks like.
I was just feeling it out, you know what I mean? I was just gonna check it and see how, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't worry, spend all,
All right,
the
let me
money,
check it. Now you get me
all
nervous.
the money on all the parts, but let's file the rings with the VAR.
They said file the rings. They didn't say fucking...
They didn't specify that far about how to file
the
it.
rings. Like, didn't seem that complicated.
You want to do my nails after, man?
Yeah. 20,000. I'll take 20,000 off your toenail.
Please.
See that? It's just starting to like almost. I can almost like push it in, but yeah, whatever.
Tap it in a little bit more.
No, it just means you got to take a little bit more filing. That's all.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Kiss it off.
Cut it.
Yeah, I'm saying about
That should be it. This should be the one. This is the single.
I don't know. You stroked it a couple too many times there, I think.
Well, I still got another cup of foul to open it if I had to.
Gotcha.
So you stop at, you know, the beginning of the spec, and if you do hit the spec, if you fall in, so we get 20 thou right here and 23 thou right here. So if we fall in at 20, which it pretty much does, I can pretty much...
That's perfect.
It's a tight, snug fit. So honestly, yeah, it's pretty much spot on where you want it. Just a little drag, like you can put it in, you can pull it up. See how it pulls the ring up? That means it's still too tight in my book, but a 23 won't fit, even if I wanted it to. I mean, honestly, just for the sake of doing it right, I am gonna just take a tiny bit more out, just because if it's got a little too much drag, yes, the gauge did fit. Yes, it'll probably be fine, but knowing that it's in the tolerance is better than knowing that you might just make the tolerance. So, anyhow, we're ready to pull them all out, get them prepped onto the pistons, or I should say in their locations. And what I like to do, I put the ring in the location, you know, I mark the piston. It says number 2, I put them in the box, all in this little section. And the first thing I do, I put the piston on the rod, as you guys should all be doing, and then load the rings right before you're ready to drop them in, compress it, all that good stuff. But keeping everything in order is like the key here to doing this successfully. So keep them in this box, keep them in the tray, keep them all in order, and you should be good to go. And then these wire clips, wire locks for them, what do you call it here, pistons? They're real easy to do. You won't stab your finger or nothing like that. You just simply take the wire lock with the flat blade screwdriver and just click. That's it. It's that simple. You won't have to fight with it or nothing. That's all. You won't have to stab your hand or anything like 4 times to get it in there. Now I know this is like a very hostile situation. It's very, you know, you gotta be gentle, nice and easy. Go ahead and apply that nice assembly lube. And then you just, honestly, it looks like you could eat it. Like it's a nice, pretty color. So then you get it nice and easy. You go ahead and look down at the crank journal. Make sure you don't have it twisted or anything like that. You want to have it nice and straight. And then you just, nice and easy. This is a one-time deal. You don't want to be doing this twice. So you have your piston lined up. See where the valves are. You can look straight down overhead. That you can see the valve reliefs. You can back away a little bit right there. Good. Those valve reliefs face the intake side, which would be facing me. This is the front of the engine. We're lined up, we're straight. I'm gonna get a hammer. And I know that sounds like not what you'd be grabbing right now, but it's totally cool. You grab the back side of a hammer and you clean it first. So then you're gonna take this and just make sure, what you wanna do is, I see everyone f this up and they break a ring because they're not making sure that the tool is staying seated up against the block. If that thing lifts in a corner or it's not staying square, you risk a ring popping out and then you're over here bashing it away with a hammer. We're gonna tap this right down. You're gonna hear a firm click click when the rings go in. I just wanna roll this way so the rod's dangling correctly. I'm gonna keep it nice and square. If you want diamond, you can actually go in on this side real quick, just for a quick swoop. You can see a little inspection hole here. You can see the rod actually kind of coming through right there. See how it's like right directly overhead? Yep. But we have a long way to go before we hit it, so as long as we can go down. My advice is light taps, and that's it, it's in. That is in the hole. I didn't break anything because I just give the littlest, like lightest, most softest taps, and it just inches in. If there was any obstruction where the ring was in the way, I would feel it not want to go. If it just inches in and just clicks in, you know you're good. If you feel like you have to take more force to get it to move, you know there's probably something binding. Stop at once, pull it back out. You probably just bent the ring a little bit, and you honestly are already kind of in bad shape. But if you don't pull it out, you're gonna be even worse shape. So I'm only doing this just because I want to get the rod, the big end of the rod, pretty much center line with the crank, because the connecting rod journal is all the way down. If you look on the bottom underneath here, you're going to see the journal's all the way down here. So I'm up here making sure it lands center. If I articulate the block, see how the rod goes one way or the other? Just gravity pulling it center line down. So I line it up to center. That way I know when I drape, excuse me. God damn, Dave. Anyways, as I was saying, we're gonna lower it right down and we're pretty much right on target. When I lower this down, I'm pushing it down nice and easy. I'm gonna receive it right here just to be sure that it's gonna be all good. And then we're gonna go ahead and throw the rod cap on there with the new fresh bearing. I'm gonna go ahead and lower that right down nice and easy into place. These are already plastic gauged and checked, so they're already gonna land in the correct spot. So we're gonna put lube on the thread. We're also gonna put a little lube where the flange of the bolt mates up against the rod cap. It's already been done once, but again, we're doing it just to be sure. Now, as it's sucking it together, I'm gonna get my torque wrench out. We're gonna torque that right down, and it's gonna be good to be, call it secure and done. That is mated to the crank. Do it ×3 or do it ×4, and the rest of them. And you can put it all together and start going. When we're torquing down the rod caps, you don't have to, I guess, no one does it, but I like to always put a feeler gauge in between the rod itself and the journal for the crank, just so that when you're tightening down that bearing, I should say bearing, when you tighten down the rod, there's no gap there for it to start articulating in the clearance that's specified and actually start moving that rod bearing out of place and having some alignment issues that you're never gonna see until you take it apart again. It's just knowing that you're not touching the rod bearing when you're tightening it. You know, you're not putting any load on the bearing. You're strictly just filling that void, tightening down the rod, and then when you're relaxed and you take it out, it's all happy and kosher. So that's what I like to do. And we're gonna bring this to about 30 foot-pounds and 50 foot-pounds, and then yeah, do it all, and we'll time-lapse it, and we'll see you guys in a bit. like any ring that we, you know, put in on any. Hold on a second. You guys stop.
I'm not talking.
I'm over here like waiting for you guys to shut the fuck up so we can keep going.
Well,
Can we like get to the program? What are we doing? Are we showing what we f***ed up, or are we showing how to do it the right way? All right, fine. So you don't f***ing break a ring and do this. Let me show you how to do it the right way.
Don't worry, we got some JB Weld for these guys, you know?
No big deal. What you got, Dave?
So, as I was saying, put the second ring in there, put the first ring in there. Your oil ring should already be in there, otherwise you shouldn't be putting your second ring in there. So, we're gonna put my ring in there just like this. Okay, that's the wrong side. Now, here's the biggest problem I had, and that's why I broke the ring. You guys are gonna see this shortly after that last good one that went in. I broke the ring because this right here on the end gap for the second ring, not your first one, but the second one, when you're loading it in the piston ring compressor, if you don't have this one facing up, it has the risk of it popping out. So like if it's not, you know, with gravity holding it, this can actually pop out quite a bit to the point where it can actually overlap the piston ring land and kind of not sit right. So I felt that it was weird in the ring compressor and backed it out, stopped it. Typically that saves the day, but in not this case. I tried to actually fix the ring and kind of straighten it out a little bit. And in the process of doing that, I broke it. So it is what it is. I'm gonna order another set. That's fine. Shit happens. I just, you know, what are you gonna do? But just for the future reference, so you guys don't break it, make sure that that second ring faces up. The first one doesn't have that problem. That one won't hit the ring land and pinch and do weird stuff. That thing is like your bitch. It just goes wherever it wants, you know? This second one, not so much. It's like, it just doesn't like, you gotta be nice to it, I guess. So anyways, we're gonna load that in there and that's it. We're gonna put this in and I'm gonna pretty much clip it for tonight.
Tell me when.
Keep going. Stop and pull the ratchet off. I hate this shit. I don't like it at all. But I got another ring set coming, so I shouldn't be worried.
Make it 2 ring sets.
Make that 2 so in case you fuck up another one.
I think Jib needs a
So you
set
need another
anyway,
ring
dude.
set? I can't. this
My
phone
server
call-
already needs one.
Just send him
this phone
some
call
while we're at
down.
it.
White's
I can
going
already
on
see
that.
this.
Throw out some shout outs to your sponsors, Jonesy.
I'm gonna call the
Mickey
guy.
Mouse Precision Tuning.
Yeah. Sticktuning.com. I thought you were chugging that.
Oh, that's actual shit.
Where are these rings? Oh, the one ring. That's now
Freddie
2.
has something to do with tomorrow.
It was a good piston ring. All we're blaming is the installer.
For 50 cents a day, every single subscriber could pay for his ring. It's one ring.
Get the cigarette.